many people. Just a word of encouragement, just some quick story, word of encouragement about standing your ground, standing for what you believe in terms of our money, our pay, our moolah, our cash, our cha-ching. It's not that money is everything, but when we're starting a new role or when we're interviewing for a new role, you want to feel comfortable. You know that you're going to be working hard. You know that the first 3 to 6 months, it's going to be, there's a learning curve. You know that, it's going to be new, not just the work and the dynamics and the culture of the organization is going to be different, but there's things that you're going to have to learn. And so the first year normally isn't so pleasant because you're learning and you're going to be making, I don't want to say mistakes, but your knowledge or your understanding of how things should go is going to be challenged. So when you're starting a new position, um, before you sign anything, you make sure that what you want you're getting. Um, and some people might say that's easier said than done, and I don't think it is. Um, and you don't win, and the organization doesn't win when an employee just settles for whatever is being thrown at them. Um, so it pays, both sides win when you accept a position and you get the salary that you want, or that or very close to it. Doesn't have to be exact, but it have to be damn close to it, right? So I'll tell you a little story. um, I ran into someone. I didn't run into them, like somehow we connected on phone or social media. Forgot. Those details aren't important, and I'll I'll add or take away some of it for the purpose of privacy when it comes to that. So I ran into this person on social media, um, and this person told me about a new position with this new agency that they were working for. Um, and I was like, "Oh, that's fantastic! Congratulations! You'd make your that material. I'm so happy for you." We went out to lunch. We talked more about, um, the new organization, and I was like, "I'm proud of you. I'm very, very impressed. That's really great." Um, and then he said, "There's a position under me. I think you might be interested in." So he sent it to me. I skimmed over it, you know, while we were having lunch. But then when I got home, I really pulled it up and read it in depth, and I was like, yeah, this sounds really, this is right up my alley. I think, sure, I'd like to apply. I'd like to be considered. How do I go about it? Um, then he said, well, what salary requirements are you looking for? So I shot a number. I was like, okay, that's definitely doable. So I was like, yes, like I know this person. The salary that I said I wanted didn't seem crazy. Um, so boom, schedule first interview with him, which which was fine because like we're I'm gonna do well in the first interview with him, right? It was a very easy person to talk to and a very decent person, like very really explained. It wasn't like the luncheon we had. It was very much of a formal conversation explaining the role. So it was really, it's different hats you wear when you're having lunch with someone as opposed to like learning about a specific role that you might be fulfilling. Then, and what happened? Then the second interview gets scheduled, and they're like, yeah, you're gonna meet with this person, and they just want to meet. And I got the impression that I just have to kind of meet them because the person who really makes the decision is the one that's going to be working with me, which would be him. So that it's just really a sort of formality to meet this person, who is, of course, had a higher ranking than he did, but um, normally the CEO may not make those decisions because it's like that's why they hire executive directors to say it's the executive directors that run the organization and the department. Um, so they give their feedback unless the person is so horrible, the interviewee is just so horrible that they're like, no, there's no way this person could work here. And that wasn't the case. So during the second phase of this interview, um, what happened? What happened? So I meet, um, of course, I look presentable. Um, and I felt it went well until the end. At the end, um, she brought up salary, and I felt confident in saying what salary I wanted because I already discussed salary with the other person, with the person who I had the first interview with. And he said it was within the salary range, within so I felt comfortable saying proudly, I would like blah, blah, blah. And the look on her face was like, oh, well, yeah, this position doesn't pay that at all. Um, this position pays 60 and maybe I can do 63. The numbers are not exactly what, you know what I mean, but just for the sake of giving as much privacy to this situation as possible. But so I'm like, oh, well, such and such are my requirements for this position. She said, well, I'm not sure if that's in alignment with what we can pay. So I said, okay, well, I didn't want to like start an argument over salary in in the interviewing process, but I said, well, I am negotiable, and I'm really looking forward to joining the team. So I'm looking to the side because she was to my right. So it's like I'm really looking forward to joining the team, and um, I'm sure we can come to a common ground. So I my intent was to get out of that awkward conversation and get back to the person who initially told me about this position. Be like, why was she saying such a low number? Um, and he wasn't clear because he's like, I'm looking at the position and the salary that what you said is within the range. So I'm like, okay, well, she's saying, 60 something. So I'm like, oh my goodness. Well, I don't know. I was like, so basically I just kind of was like, well, hopefully it's offered to me, and then once it's offered to me, I can negotiate the salary. But I was a little bit concerned that it was a little bit not a little bit, a lot of a stretch from what I wanted to what she's saying is the range. Now, I started off by saying, stand your ground, stick to what you say you want, and don't stray far from it because And this is how much they don't want us in leadership roles. The position was already online that week, and the salary range was exactly what the first person was saying it was. So for some reason, I don't know what it is about me, but for some reason, she thought she can give me a ridiculous offer, and I would just hop on the table, start dancing, and be just oh so thrilled that she offered me anything. And it's weird. It's like I even said to him, "Well, why is the position off? Why is the position on ZipRecruiter, Glassdoor, whatever, advertised for this amount, and she's telling me this?" Because when he then went to her, I saw when he said, and after the interview, he's like, "All right, she's gonna call you by this person's gonna call you by Friday. They're gonna call you by Monday." When I saw that, and he was like, "You have to be ready right away." So I'm like, okay. When I saw 1 week go by, I knew I wasn't getting it. I knew the salary was not the issue because again, they have the position advertised for whatever, for the correct amount, for the amount that it is the real salary. But I guess what I'm guessing, I can only speculate, but I'm guessing what she told him. Well, no, I'm not guessing at this point. He's an honest person. He told me that my salary requirements were too high. I'm like, but yo, dude, I undershot what is the requirements? How is it? So I was like, maybe she just doesn't like me. He's like, it's like he really didn't know what to say because the salary that I was spitting, that I was saying I want, it wasn't exceeding their range. So I think it was the nerve, the audacity, the guts to say, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is what I'm comfortable with, and not backing down from that. Um, and it's amazing. Like, so the position is, I don't know if they filled it or not, but the position, you know, after a week or two, it was still online because that type of position, no one is going to do it for 60 something. And if they do, they're going to be there for a month or two until they find better. But she was very, I think it was her. I guess she didn't like the idea of someone who looks like me having the audacity to be like, this is what I want, and this is what, and I'm not. I can stray from the formula a little bit, but not drastically. I want to be happy and content. I don't want to be in the negative when I go grocery shopping. I don't want to be. I want to live comfortably, and the workload and the excessiveness of life, I need to be able to manage this. So, and I don't want to have to think about money. So I don't know if the position's still filled, but you standing your ground, and then when I went back to my because I had something else, and I'm just like, oh man, good thing I didn't, turn in my, what. I was just like, damn, like, why are they? Like, was it the guts, the fact that I had the balls to say, I want this, this is what I need? Um, or was salary just an excuse, not because they didn't want me, she didn't want me? Um, which is very strange because I wouldn't be working with her. You know what I mean? So the idea of like, I don't know, I guess there's just something about me. Someone else said that about me. They were like, oh, there's just something about her. Yeah, so it's funny. It's a small world, and you feel like at first you feel defeated, but sometimes when you're in a room full of people and you have these awkward conversations, not everybody has the same viewpoint, and there can be somebody in that room that has a whole other, that they're thinking of something else, and then lo and behold, you get a call for something, and it's right up your alley, and they recognize that paying people fairly and according to their position and role, the people stay, people are more committed because they feel like, okay, you invested in me, I'm going to invest in you, I'm going to invest in your organization, I'm going to grow this thing. This is my baby now, this is my project now, I am so committed to this now. Oh my God, I'm shaking. um, but stand your ground. You will get the position you want, with the pay you want, uh, eventually, and don't settle. Don't settle. If you go in for an interview and you get offered something that's like ridiculously out, way below your standard, and yes, you have a right to make standards. You know, we're often, you know, I think there's a subconscious belief that like we should just be happy to have a job, and we should just accept anything. And equal opportunity employment doesn't mean that they'll pay you fairly. It just means that we'll hire you and you could work for us. It doesn't mean that we're going to pay you what we would pay Miss Lee, Miss Streisand. You get what I'm saying? So for Black women to have standards, it's like, no, that's way below. That's way over our limit, even though the position is online listed for X amount. But when you say what you want and what you need, that's way above our ability. Oh, really? Stand your ground. You can't be a rat. You can't be a spineless rat where you don't have any standard, you don't have any goal of what you want to do and how much you think you'll need to finance your life. Um, a lot of us are single mothers, are divorced, are, you know, so we a lot of us do have to depend on ourselves for taking care of things, and we some of us aren't two income households. We may have help from, child support or something like that, but that's really like, the crumbs of it, the icing on the cake. The main income comes from our own productivity. So don't feel that you can't stand your ground and say what you want and say, this is what I need to finance my life. Because what you need, and I wish that I was able to be this assertive and know this truth 10 years ago. I would have been where I'm at 10 years ago. 10 years ago. There is a certain amount needed to finance my life. I know what that number Me going below that doesn't change the fact that I still need that amount to finance my life. I still need 200,000 a year. No, I don't need 200,000 a year. But you know what I'm saying? I still need X amount of money to finance my mouth, to finance my life. If I accept a position that's slightly under, slightly under, maybe. If it's damn close. But if it's significantly lower, significantly to the left of that, what the hell am I taking that for? What's the point of working more than 40 hours a week? Because you know for sure when you start these, there's no such thing as a 40-hour, unless you're doing a shift at a store or McDonald's. But when you get into these, especially leadership executive positions, there's no 40 hours. You're working on projects late at night, weekends. You're going to venues. You're going to things. There's no 40-hour week. So money should be the least of your worries. But stand your ground. Do not take something significantly lower than what you need to maintain your life.